the next hour or less, we're going to get to know some of the musicians making music right here in our state. And we're going to get to know them virtually. Here's how it works. We have 10 of our 12 artists here today, and we chat with them for a few minutes. There's also going to be 2 performances, Shama Noel and All Right, All Right. If you got a question for one of our bands or for us, please leave a comment on YouTube and we'll answer it if we can. All right, as you can see, we're in Zoom. This is live. There may be a few hiccups along the way. We'll just roll with it. Hashtag 2020. So let's get started. Again, thanks to everyone for being here. And I want to introduce my co-host, Bruce Trujillo. Hi, Bruce.
Hello, Alisha. How are you today?
I'm good. And it's October, which is a month that I love. And I know that you love Halloween also. And I thought we should ask each of our artists today a question that I want to ask you right now. What has been your best Halloween costume over the years?
Oh, okay. I was going to ask the hosts this too when we checked in with them. So this is perfect. So the one that I have been sticking with for the past few years, first off, because it's comfortable and also because it's easy and it's cute as hell, is Max from Where the Wild Things Are. So I just get to wear like a onesie and a little crown, which is very fitting, and like a little foxtail. And it's perfect for Colorado because you never know if it's going to be like 85 degrees or 25 degrees. So you can either dress up or dress down underneath it, but either way it works and everybody knows who it is. What's yours?
You're such a wild thing. Mine, I'm gonna choose when I was Margot Tenenbaum a couple years ago, and I had like the big, brown fur jacket and kind of the whole blonde thing going on and everything. So
that's, yeah, you were like a perfect Margot.
Yeah, so that's a memorable one for me. All right, what do you think? Should we get this virtual meetup started?
Let's do it.
Okay, you're gonna kick it off for us. We have Psychologic here and maybe Kid Astronaut joining him.
Hopefully. Okay, so this is a new collaboration between Psychologic, the producer, and Kid Astronaut, who we already know from past local 303s. But this is a brand new collaboration that was kind of released earlier this year, the Canopsia EP. And so Psychologic, can you tell me kind of how this collaboration came to be? And John is just now joining, thankfully. So John, hi, we're talking about your project here. If you guys want to jump in and talk about this new collaboration.
Yeah, so it was the connection was made through Mona Magno. She runs Free Music for Free People and also her own label, Free People Records, which is what we released it on. So it was pretty much her idea that we worked together at the beginning.
All right. And yeah, I love this because it is out on Free People Records. We know Mona from, she's been in the CPR Performance Studio and has also done a ton of stuff around town. And I guess the music part of this, John, you were actually pulling weeds when you kind of came up with some of this new music. So tell me more about like writing the songs that were specifically for this collaboration.
Yeah, basically gardening is something I took up during quarantine. So I think it was just about the process of starting new life and getting rid of the old that really inspired it. I had the tracks, but I just did not have any ideas for a long time. And then once I just put my headphones in and started working, it was like a flood of lyrics.
And so did you already have the tracks from Psychologic and then it was just a matter of putting one and one together to make this?
Yep. And then once I did my vocals, I think he did some production elements around it. But yeah, it was a pretty organic process, I would say, from getting the songs to me to completing them.
So this is kind of a total quarantine project. Like you guys didn't have to be in the studio together. You could be socially distanced and still create this brand new music. So Psychologic, when did you create these beats? Was it also in quarantine or were these kind of some older ones that you had sent over to John?
Well, so I started creating them. It was a quarantine thing for the most part. One of the projects, which was actually the title track, Canopsia, I had started that project before, but it was just that sort of that eerie sort of sad feel that I was going for. And I knew that project was the embodiment of that. So I brought that one out. And then the other 2 tracks were completely from scratch specifically for this EP for John.
Well, and Canopsia is kind of that feeling, correct me if I'm wrong, but like the feeling that an empty space or a space that is no longer in use brings. So kind of that melancholy kind of vibe. Was quarantine kind of an inspiration to do that, John, or was that just kind of how you're feeling pulling weeds anyways, and was it already there?
No, actually, Mona and Luke approached me with the title, and I had never heard that title before. But obviously, it just kind of like worked out that we're also in a quarantine. That was kind of weird, but I was really inspired by like The Matrix, probably the second movie, like where they all go down to Zion. That was like a really big inspiration for me in thinking of a space that was occupied by a lot of people, but then there's that huge like dance party scene when they're all down, in wherever they are in the under earth or something. So yeah, I don't know. It was a collection of like movies and just ideas and themes that all pulled it together.
All right, and you guys have mentioned working with Mona and with Free People Records. So tell me a little bit more about how she was involved in this project. Obviously, she brought brought you two together to work on this, but was she a part of anything else going into it, or did she kind of give you free reign?
She actually has some vocals on the third song, Void, as well. So she had input along the way in terms of just like artistic direction and everything.
Awesome. Well, we love Mona and we love Psychologic and we love Kid Astronaut. Really glad that you guys are a part of the Local 303 this month. And I'm going to hand things over to Alisha for our next guest.
But wait, before they go, best Halloween costume, boys.
Oh, yeah.
Kid Astro.
Like what is the best costume I've ever worn?
Yeah.
Okay, I was a Power Ranger when I was 7, and I haven't worn a Halloween costume since then. I think that was my top. That was like the top one.
That's your mic drop. Yeah, I get it.
That was it.
How about you, Luke?
Well, one year, me and my brother got a bunch of materials from Home Depot, and we made dead mouse heads. So we wore like suits and dead mouse heads. That was awesome.
Yeah.
I'll get some ideas from everyone here.
Yeah, exactly. Well, thank you guys so much. And we're going to keep cruising. We got Dan Aid from Big Hearts Club. Hey, Dan.
Hi.
Hi, nice to see you. Are
Yeah, you
Alish.
too.
Yeah. All right, best Halloween costume for you.
Probably my favorite one was probably like second or third grade. Just took a cardboard box and cut the side out and then glued a painting frame to it and
Okay.
put a hat inside the box so then I could put the box over me and I was like a painting of myself.
That's pretty amazing. Second or third grade for that?
I don't think it was that impressive. I think mostly it was like a hat glued inside a box with
I
a
mean,
cheap plastic frame glued to a box.
Yeah. I'm
yeah.
here for it. I'm here for it. Well, a little cliff notes on your band. You are one half of the duo Big Hearts Club, a newish indie rock band that started with you and then Jakob Miller from Slow Caves. You have your debut single, Dear Nick, out now. We're featuring it this month. It was produced by James Doviak, who plays guitar and keys for Johnny Marr. And what is going on with you guys right now? We have this one single.
Right now, I think that's our world. We tried to get together one time during COVID to actually like do some writing and make some music, but I don't know that we could make it feel really comfortable as far as getting people into a basement and having it, just kind of be free enough to get our minds into a space where we could create new stuff. So we're sitting on like 20 demos that we created over the past year. And hopefully when all this is done, the original plan had been to meet James in LA and get into a studio for a week and just sort of start fleshing out a lot of those ideas or create new songs. So hopefully we get to do that at some point. But yeah, for now, but I don't know, sitting around a little bit.
Yeah. What does a day look like for you? A typical day right now?
Fall's been a little weird. Like John was saying, like I got into gardening.
Nice.
Yeah, my partner and I have a backyard space, and we're able to grow a bunch of stuff. And this is the first time I've had a garden since I was a little kiddo, and really loved doing that. Got back into skateboarding a little bit, and more recently, fulfilling a childhood dream, took up learning how to skate and play hockey. So that's been my, that's been my new adventure.
And I gotta say, maybe you're adding to your list of your resume. If I can mention this about you, you've taken a little career detour or added something to your career. You've started acting as well. You were in Good Girls, which I love that show. And now I have to go back and find you in Good Girls.
Yeah, I had a great time popping in season 3 for an episode, and then was supposed to be in some more episodes later in that season, but production got shut down. I think I'm allowed to say this here, but anyway, I'm back for season 4, so I'll be in LA in November to do some more filming for Good Girls, and just auditioning when stuff pops up. But that's the only thing that's locked in for now. So.
Well, best of luck with that. And also, like, truly, I always love when you send me music. So keep sending it when it happens, because,
Thanks,
music
Alisha.
is all music is what we need right now, especially. And thank you for catching up with me right now.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah. Bruce, who do we got up next? Is it our first performers?
It is. It's all right. Straight out of Denver. But actually, you said you're in Alamosa right now, yeah?
Yes.
Oops.
Hold on.
We'll figure it out. Zoom life.
Yeah, we are in Alamosa. We went on a big old.
Hang on.
Can you guys hear us?
Second.
Little
You hear-
echoey. While we're figuring out sound. All right, is from Denver, husband and wife duo. They've got an album coming out on the 23rd called Crucible. And of course, you've been hearing it on Indie 102.3. They are going to perform here in just a sec once we get all of the audio all good to go, which should be good. Are we good? How's it going, guys?
Okay.
Get it? Maybe not
We
yet.
just went to Sand Dunes. So our big, we were at the Sand Dunes. The kids had a day off of school, and so we decided to come down here. And our hotel had terrible internet, and so here we are in a coffee shop.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Really, really wonderful. The San Luis Valley Brewing Company is allowing us to use their closed coffee shop to play for you guys. So here we are.
I think that's so great. So I live part-time down in Taos, so I travel through Alamosa like twice a month at the very least. So let's get to your music anyways. Just reading a little bit more about you. You guys love words and wordplay. So how do you kind of choose what words to use within your song? A lot of different rhyming, a lot of different double meanings in there. You guys poets first and foremost?
I mean, I feel like
there's a lot of focus on poetry that goes into it, I would say.
I mean, I like by my bedside, on my side of the bed, there's like a stack of poetry books like this high. I read it all the time. It's kind of my go-to, especially now when I feel like poetry is really healing. It's kind of a thing that we maybe all need a little more of right now. So yes, poetry is the thing for me.
But I think we both say we're songwriters first.
Awesome. Well, and speaking of that, you guys kind of write separately and then bring things together a little bit later to kind of critique each other and kind of make the music that you do. And you said in interviews before that it's like it's a labor of love and that you're happy to have that, but also another like level of respect as songwriters. So talk more about like kind of the process that you guys have in songwriting as a couple.
I mean, one of the best ways to sort of describe it is kind of we write our own songs and then we volley them back to each other. So like we work on something, the concept generally is one of us, you know, and then either like I get stuck and I'm like, hey babe, can you maybe like look at this and see what you think, or vice versa. We edit each other's work. We've only really truly like co-written a couple of songs. I think in some ways like it works best if one of us starts and then the other like helps finish.
Oh, kind of like a John and Paul kind of thing, like.
Yeah. Lots
Yeah.
of editing of each other, which that's the part that takes the trust, is trusting each other to like, it's not insulting if China's like, this word's terrible.
well, and she's got all that poetry to back her up. But you guys have a new album coming out on the 23rd called Crucible. You're going to perform one from that now. What are we going to hear this afternoon?
We're going to hear a song that I wrote because I thought it was funny. I kind of needed a break from a bunch of songs that I'd written that were pretty sad. And so I started on this one. And at first I thought it was not really something to keep going with. And then our producer, Ben Wysocki, was like, no, this is a really great song. You need to keep going. So we kept digging in and it came up with this.
I will say this song is a big surprise to me. Like I was like, you guys have fun writing your little cute little fun car song, you know? And then once it was written and once we like took it in to be really like produced, I'm in love with this song. I think I feel like it's the best song in the album. I mean, obviously, that's like saying this is my best child. You know, you can't do that, but I do love this song.
So, and it's called Trans Am.
And those of you who live in Denver and have driven up I-70 may or may not.
You'll probably know what we're talking about. On our bikes back in junior high, muscle cars that passed us by. Wished I could have owned one then. You know I would be turning heads, take it up to the overlook, and steam the windows till the cops show up. Instead of feeling halfway dead, I'd be the king with a foot of lead. 'Cause I wanna buy a Trans Am, the 4x4 with welded doors, it's parked above the Georgetown Dam. Man, let me drive a Trans Am. It seems like it runs, but it bakes in the sun. It's just about as much as I can take. Drive it down to some fancy street to find a classic place to eat. Laugh at the valet climbing in. Leave the radio turned up to 10. Watch me drop the kids at school. All the friends will think it's super cool. Headmaster will shake his head. Dream he owns it when he goes to bed. 'Cause I wanna buy a Trans Am, 4x4 with welded doors, parked above the Georgetown Dam. Man, let me buy a Trans Am. It breaks most of the rules of the HOA. Fees I don't care to pay. Gotta find a way to make it work. I'll skip the braces for my kids like a jerk. We could probably sell the minivan. We'll trade it to you with some cash in hand. 'Cause I wanna buy a Trans Am, 4x4 with welded doors, and it's parked above the Georgetown Dam. Man, let me buy a Trans Am. I've been cooped up inside since the triplets arrived, and I can barely remember my name. But haul it out into forgotten lands, shoot my guns at some Coors Light cans. Guess I'll have to park that dream out in the desert like a dried up stream.
All right. On live from the Local 303 Meetup. Live from the Local 3 is my other show on Thursday nights. But new song, Trans Am. Seth and China, thank you so much. Would you take a Trans Am out to the sand dunes, by the way?
Oh my God.
If they would let me, absolutely.
Absolutely.
Gotcha.
All right. And before I toss over to Alisha and she reminds me again, what were your guys' favorite Halloween costumes so far?
Well, a couple years ago, we had a really fun Halloween party, and it was we like had this house show with this cool band, and we dressed up as like sort of ancillary characters in Stranger Things. So Seth was the science teacher, and I was the science teacher's wife. I just made that up, but it was like 80s. It was the most fun I've ever had, like doing my hair and like making myself look like I was from the 80s. And it was like horrible and amazing all at the same time. I had like these big glasses and my hair was all different.
It's kind of what we would have looked like if we'd met in middle to high school.
That's adorable. All right. Well, I got to hand things over to Alisha. All right. Thank you so much, guys.
Thanks for having us. It's fun.
Thanks. You guys totally could have been driving a Trans Am too, and with that costume.
Yes.
Yeah, totally. Well, we are cruising along, no pun intended, for real. But I want to welcome Augustus, a Colorado band with some Americana roots. They are up next. We have a few of the Boulder-based group members here. Colin Kenny, they're sitting together, Colin and Jim. Colin's the songwriter and vocalist. Jim Hurley, he plays guitar and he also sings backing. Hi, guys. Hey, you got a new album coming out this week, Color TV and Tall Tales, produced by Nate Cook of The Yoppers and Tyler from Eldrin. First of all, congrats on release week. How does it feel during quarantine?
It's interesting for sure.
It's good.
Yeah,
it's good. Let's be positive.
Yeah.
It's good. It's great. It's good to have it out.
Yeah. Are you guys gonna throw like a virtual party online? Are you gonna play a show or?
No, it kind of is random, but we got asked to play a show at this new venue called Number 38 this coming Friday. So we're gonna do a show there, but it's not really billed as like a release show. We're just a show we're doing and kind of celebrate the end of the release of this, and we haven't stepped on a stage in 6 months, so it'll be interesting and fun, and we're stoked to do it. So
yeah. Was the album recorded pre-COVID?
Yes.
Yeah.
This November.
Yeah,
November. It was done, and then we submitted to Hometown for the Holidays and got one of our songs, Beer Man, and it got selected. So we were in the top 11 for that. So we've been actually in the process of releasing this record for almost a year now, like 2 months shy of that, but like 10 months. Yeah. So, yeah, it was.
Feels good to have it.
We had plans for a big release show at the Fox in May, but for obvious reasons, the
world had other plans.
Yeah,
so.
we didn't.
Sure does.
Yeah.
Totally. Give me a theme or intention behind Color TV and Tall Tales.
I've been saying different things every time I get asked.
Yeah, Colin has a different answer, so we'll see what the answer is.
It's I'm gonna say this time because it's gonna sound weird. I don't know. It's part of it is about wanting to like move to Italy and just like, stop. I don't know, just move to Italy, or it's just about being present in your life, at least in the day to day.
Yeah, I'm down with both of those things. Right?
Maybe if I moved to Italy, I would be more present. At least that's myself.
I just want to eat so much. It just makes me hungry saying the word Italy.
Yes.
You guys have spent plenty of time out touring across the states. What do you miss about touring right now?
Everything.
Yeah. For me personally, I miss like the atmosphere at shows. I miss like playing shows with other bands and meeting the other bands. I miss like meeting their fans. I like talking to sound engineers and bartenders and door people, and like the whole vibe of the evening is like, to me, almost more fun or as fun as actually playing music itself. So like the whole night, and even just seeing a show, like going out and having that experience of being in a place to see live music, I miss all that. And we toured to some cool places. We would like intentionally book shows in like towns that we really wanted to go to. And then
Jim would intentionally book shows so he could go surfing.
Yeah, we'd go to California and I was like, I'm going to go surf here. So we're going to book a show here. And we would pretty much camp everywhere we go. So we would pitch tents in cool spots, and it was super fun.
That sounds rad. Well, before we go, best Halloween costumes, bonus points if you like had a Halloween show and you guys all dressed up as something.
So I don't know if this is any good, but it's like the only time I've really dressed up as like a semi-adult, and I guess I wasn't really an adult because it's a terrible costume, but I dressed up as a keg when I was like maybe 19, and I took a big trash can and I cut the bottom of it out and like wore it on my shoulders, and I got one of those like oil like siphon things, and I like mounted it and took like a big like milk jug and like taped it inside and filled it with beer, so like it actually worked, and I thought it was awesome, and I was like, this is so cool. And we went to a Halloween party and they wouldn't let me in because I was too big, and the party was too crowded, so I just sat in the yard like all night by myself, and anyone that was leaving the party was like, hey, it's the keg guy, and they would like drink out of the keg, and I was just like, I think I'm gonna go home. I don't know. I think I blew this totally. So I don't know if that's good, but that's the only thing I got.
Okay. How about you?
Being Elvis was pretty cool.
Yeah, totally.
Because I had some cool, really bedazzled jacket. So that was it. And my now wife, girlfriend at the time was Priscilla. So it was fun.
Oh, that's perfect. Well, hey guys, I'm glad I had a chance to meet you briefly, and congrats on the new album release.
Thanks so much. Thanks for having us. This is awesome what you're all doing here.
Yay! This is the Local 303 virtual meetup. In case you're just finding us on YouTube, if you're a Colorado artist that wants to submit your music, have it considered for on-air play, send it via our website at indie1023.org. Stick around. We have a performance from Shama Noel coming up, a few more band interviews, including up next Lokana. And I do want to say thank you to our sponsor as well. We have a sponsor, Elevated Independent Energy. All right, Bruce.
All right, so I am super excited to speak with Lokana. She is hello, brand new artist. You're 17. You've been in Colorado before, and you have always wanted to become like a big singer. So who inspired that when you were a kid? Was there like one or two artists that you listened to all the time that you were like, that's it, this is what I want to do?
When I was a kid, I always listened to like Taylor Swift, and my favorite song was You Belong With Me by Taylor Swift. So when I found out at a young age that you could like make money and like be famous and people would love you and like people would pay to watch you sing, I was like, I want to hop on board that. And then singing ever since.
And here you are. Ride or Die is out now. We hear it on Indie 1023 for the Local 303. You actually met your producer, Nico the Owl, in 2018. So tell me a little bit more about that trip out to California, meeting your producer, and then, you know, releasing the single last month.
Well, I actually met him this year of March. Yeah, so it was March of this year, and that was before COVID hit. And I pretty much met him. My old manager actually made us like connect and stuff, and we had an instant connection, and we made the song. I actually already had the song written and everything, and then yeah, pretty much we made it, and here we are.
So when you write music, you had this one already written. Do you have a bunch of other songs that are kind of just like waiting to have music added to them, produced, all that good stuff? You have like a notebook full or something like that?
I actually have I think I have about 12 unreleased songs. They're all done. They're made by a whole bunch of different producers, but yeah, I mean, I just have them in the vault. We're planning on, you know, releasing them. I always wanted to do an EP, so I mean, that could be a possibility, but
kind of waiting to see what happens.
Yeah, pretty much.
Are you still in high school and like doing that whole entire online world thing?
Yeah, I'm still doing the whole online stuff. I got to kind of get into the flow of online school. Last year, I was actually doing online school for my junior year. And while I was doing my online school, I was working like a full-time job. So this is when I was 16, and I was working a full-time job so that I could support my music career and stuff. So I was working like 40 plus hours as a 16-year-old and still trying to keep up with school, still trying to keep up with my social life. So,
So this year's kind of probably a piece of cake.
No. I mean, I've never been good at like school at all. So I could say that it's easy, but I'm not gonna lie. Like I've just never been good at school.
Gotcha. All right. So you also mentioned on the local 303 page over at indie1023.org that making music for you is right now is still kind of easy because there's still a lot going on. So have you been writing, even though you have some songs in the vaults, is there some new stuff potentially on the way out of quarantine?
Yeah, I mean, I'm actually going to California, I think the beginning of November, to go back with Nico the Owl to try and make some more songs and music. And I should get, we're trying to do a release this month too. So we're going to see how that works. Yeah, I know, I mean, pretty much.
All right, well, let us know if and when that happens. And before
Yeah.
back over to Alisha, tell me about your favorite Halloween costume.
When I was like, maybe I was like 1 or 2, maybe tops 3, I was Elmo. And I just think that's dope. I want to recreate it. I just think that'd be so cute.
Absolutely. All right. Well, thank you so much, Lokana. So nice to meet you, and thank you for your
too.
music. All right, Alisha, you're going to be talking to one of my favorite people in Denver, Courtney Whitehead, coming up next with Bison Bone.
Court, what's up?
How are you?
I'm good. Nice to see you.
You too. It's been a minute.
I know, right? Gosh, when was the last time we saw each other in real life? Wedding?
A wedding, I think. Yeah.
Maybe? Huh.
Yeah.
Anyways, hi, Courtney Whitehead of Bison Bone. Good to see you.
Good to be here.
Best Halloween costume?
I still do it every year, and I mostly I'll go buy a wig and then have Doug Spencer paint my face however he wants to do it. And you know that guy. So,
I do.
Yeah, so it's a lot of fun. It's just a surprise every time.
Doug Spencer used to have this band, for those that don't know, called Snake Rattle Rattle Snake, and a whole bunch of other groups over the years. But he's an amazing visual artist as well, and a music video director too. So let's talk your album, the new record, Find Your Way Out. It came out the 25th of September. It's your 3rd release. And what struck me about it is when you sent over your press release and you were talking about the themes on the record, redemption and optimism through mental and physical hardships. And I think that's so relatable for people, especially right now. Could you talk a little bit more about that?
Well, I actually wrote it last year. We started recording it in October, so before COVID and everything happened. But I mean, I could have wrote it right now, and it feels very fitting. But yeah, I think just really trying to keep your head up through all of this stuff, and I know it's really cliche, but optimism can take you a long way in these times for sure, and especially right now with go vote, you know.
Yeah, vote. It's important. You said this record is for the people in or coming out of the difficulties or discomforts. And I'll take that along with me to always think about that when I listen to the record, which was produced by Ben from The Fray, which also worked with All Right, All Right.
Yeah, him and Mark Anderson. And I mean, that's a great team. And hopefully, I think we're going to get together here again in the next few months and start on the next one. But yeah, those guys they're great at what they do. And, you know, it's all about creating a vibe, and they do that for sure.
Yeah. What are you doing musically right now to get through the day?
Mostly just sending recordings on my phone to the band, and then just talking about, you know, these new songs and what that's going to look like on the new record, and just trying to stay engaged with them. And we don't get to see each other much, so just trying to stay inspired. But everybody's doing great. I'm still working with a vocal coach every week. Those guys are still taking lessons, giving lessons. So we're really inspired and engaged, and we learned a lot from this last record, and we're like excited to put that into practice really soon.
Yeah, that's cool. How are you staying optimistic during this time? I'm always curious for people.
I think, I mean, I don't know. I think it's all slightly abstract, but just doing a lot of meditating, mindfulness work, walking, and really just staying engaged with my friends and the band, and doing a lot of that, just trying to communicate as well as I can, and just, you know, just be really present, mindful.
Yeah, I feel you. Well, thanks for chatting, hanging out.
Yeah, for sure. It was good.
Yeah, cool to see you. See you on the
too.
internet and stuff.
Yeah.
Stick around. We've got one more performance coming up from Shaman Noel. I'm going to chat with the Maslows shortly, but first, Bruce is going to catch up with a few members of Ghost Tapes for our virtual meetup.
That's right. I see Nick here. Nick, is Will going to be here also, or is it?
Will actually couldn't make it. It's just me.
That's great. Good to see you. I haven't seen you since
Good to see you
last
too.
year. And Ghost Tapes has like been in the Denver music scene. So super excited to highlight you guys this month for the Local 303. New music out now. Tell me more about officially releasing this music with Fig and Good News earlier this year.
Yeah, so we had recorded back in January of 2019 with our producer. His name's Vago, and we'd gotten the masters back at like the end of February. So we waited a little bit to release it. And so, you know, it's kind of been interesting and bittersweet. We had like a whole tour planned around it and everything. But it's been great to like finally get it out, you know, after a year and a half. So yeah, it's been bittersweet, I would say.
Absolutely. And I mean, you guys had stopped by the CPR Performance Studio maybe a year and a half ago and performed some of these songs for us. Like I remember Ichumi and, you know, a couple of these other ones that we are hearing on Indie 102.3 this month. So it's great to have them like on Spotify. We can share them with the world. And another memory I had a couple weeks ago, I shared one of those songs from your session on Live from the Local 303 and got to find a video of you guys performing at the Underground Music Showcase a couple of years back. So tell me about like not being able to go out. You had this tour planned. What have you guys been doing to kind of like keep Ghost Tapes going?
Well, I've been sending a lot of emails with the recordings out. So that's one thing I've been doing a lot of. We did a little music festival in Durango back in mid-July for the I Am Music Fest. It was all outdoors, like socially distant. That was great. We haven't been like rehearsing a whole lot, but that's kind of on account of our drummer had an injury. So he hasn't been able to play recently, unfortunately, but hopefully that changes soon. Writing all the time, you know, and just pushing the record and, you know, trying to stay positive too. I love what Courtney said about just like practicing mindfulness and meditation and everything. So that's also a big help, I think, in this time.
Yeah, definitely. And, you know, I put out on socials a couple weeks ago, like who's releasing new music this month for October. Will piped up and said, maybe we are. So we have this new music out now. Do you guys have more stuff like coming up, maybe, hopefully?
That's actually, so the way we did our releases this time a little bit different. We're doing like 3 separate EPs leading up to the full length album. So we released the first 2 EPs, and then the next EP will actually be out mid-November. November 18th, I believe, is the day. That the
all right,
30.
we got a little bit over a month. Not too bad.
Yeah, you can kind of keep chewing on parts 1 and 2 in the meantime.
All right, we will. We can do that for sure. So this year has been pretty difficult for live music and all that good stuff. But who else has been inspiring you? Have you been watching any live streams or listening to any new music that's been released? Because despite it all, 2020 has been pretty good for new music.
Yeah. Oh man. Okay. So there has been quite a bit of new music that I've been listening to. I love the new Leanne LaHavis. I like have my phone right here because I like feel like I really want to like Salt, this collective. I don't know exactly where they're out of, but SAULT. They released 2 records this year that I think is just, they're incredible. And then I've been really re-listening to like Black Sabbath, like revisiting my teenage days. So
yes. All right. And before I hand things over to Alisha, what's been your past favorite Halloween costume?
I'm terrible at Halloween. I like am usually moving on Halloween, to be honest. But a couple years ago, we did a show with The Other Black, and I remember I like was a lion, and Ishka was an oil slick, and Will was crippling student debt. So he had a gown with like all these loan papers and stuff attached to him. It was pretty funny.
That Will guy. All right. Well, can't wait to see you guys live again. It's gonna happen. Thank you so much for joining me, Nick, from Ghost Tapes, and handing things over back to Alisha.
Cool. Hey, thanks, Nick. That was awesome. Crippling student debt. I'm not dead. I'm not going to forget that for Will. All right, we're going to chat with the Maslows now. Hello, Denver pop punk band. How are you guys doing?
Hey.
Hey.
Yeah, really good. Excited to be here.
We're excited to have you. So we have Colt Cooker and Daniel Beatmaster D. Carrillo with us, a couple of members of the group. They dropped their debut full-length album called Community Locker back in August, another one of these quarantine releases. So how's that been for you?
It's been great. Thanks for rolling the R's on my last name. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Not everybody does that. Yeah, it's been great. We've had a small wave of good reception on the album, which has been awesome for us because up until now we've been a largely unknown Denver band, so to get this kind of exposure has just been tremendous, and made it on a couple major Spotify playlists, which was cool. New punk tracks and the massive one, Skate Park Punk. So through that, we were able to get a lot of streams and a lot of exposure.
I noticed that your Spotify streams were pretty darn huge. Do you make any money? Is it like a penny for every 25 listens or something?
I think it's like
less than that.
I think it's like $3 when you make it to like 10,000 or something like that. It's like you get, for every million plays, it's like you get $3,000. So I don't know what that translates
to. It's better not to think about it.
Yeah. Well, congratulations on getting all the spins on Spotify. I think that's rad. Okay, so Community Locker, it's out. We're bumping it. Tell me a memorable moment from writing or recording the album.
Got anything, Colt?
What comes to
mind? Well, we recorded it over the course of like over a year, and we actually did it in this room. We decided to self-produce instead of going to a studio, which was, indie for sure. Who knows if that was the best choice or not, but we learned so much through the process in like so many hours, and we're super proud of how it turned out. And yeah, it's been awesome to hear it on the radio now, especially.
Yeah, I bet it does. I know it is always exciting to hear your band on the radio, or for bands to hear their songs on the radio.
Yeah, it's almost hard to just come up with like a specific moment. It just feels like an era. It's like more of a long-term thing. I don't know. What do you think, Dan?
Oh, for a memorable moment? Probably like all the times we wanted to be done, but we decided at each point that it wasn't ready. We wanted the album to be the best it could be, and I think that's what we were able to create with it. And we're happy that people are digging it, but that's definitely come through iterations of trial and error.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we drove ourselves crazy on that.
You guys grew up in Lakewood, right?
Yeah, we actually all met in elementary school.
I was gonna ask, your childhood friends.
Yeah, which I think is what makes it so special. Like our songs are just, infused with memories from high school and middle school and everything, and lots of throwbacks. So yeah, we go way back.
That's cool. Did you guys spend Halloweens together then?
Actually, our first show was a Halloween show, and it was like after midnight 3 years ago on Halloween, and we all dressed up too. I dressed up as Harry Potter because that's an easy one.
That's totally. Yeah. I can see it.
I was Marty McFly.
Ah, that's a good costume too.
Pete was the Wolfman, and Nate was cop from Reno 911.
Yeah.
That sounds amazing. Well, I am so glad I got a chance to talk with you guys. Suggest something for us to binge. Have you watched anything amazing or read anything amazing during this time of lockdown?
Binge? I've been kind of binging the Flying Circus, the Monty Python Flying Circus. It's an old one, but it's a classic. It really impacted comedy. It's just a historic show. It's on Netflix. You got anything, Colt?
I'm reading this book right now by David Mitchell called Utopia Avenue, which is actually about being in a band in the 60s. And it kind of like, it's fiction, like he makes up this band, but they run into like David Bowie and other acts. So I think any like musical artist would really appreciate it, and I'd recommend it.
Cool recommendations. Well, thank you guys so much. I'm all about The Last Dance right now. I'm about 6 episodes into that. And I wonder what our Indie 102.3 hosts are into. Maybe Bruce will ask them. She's going to take over and stick around. We've got a couple more interviews.
Thank you.
Maybe one.
Absolutely. All right. So I got to ask our hosts. We've been doing the Halloween thing. So I'm going to ask each of you, and we'll start with Jason Thomas today. Best Halloween costume. And then I want you to tell me your best Halloween show.
Okay. I've had the covering on. I'm at the office right now, but I don't think anybody's around. I think it's okay to take it off. But best Halloween costume. I was feeling lazy one year. I went to I had a Halloween party to go to, and I went to Kmart and I got some plain white pants and a plain white sweatshirt for like $5 each, and I splattered paint all over them. So I was a Jackson Pollock painting. So
Nice.
It was a good last minute kind of lazy thing, but it was a cool conversation starter. You know, people are like, "Hey, who are you?" I'm a Jackson. I'm not Jackson Pollock. I am a Jackson Pollock.
That's perfect.
Best Halloween show. Rolling Stones, 1994 on the Voodoo Lounge tour.
Okay.
Yeah, my parents had gotten us tickets. They were so excited for the Stones, and I'm thinking to myself, man, these guys are dinosaurs. They were like 50 at the time or something like that. But we went. They played 4 nights in a row. This is in Northern California, stadium show. I went the first night. After I finished that show, I was on the phone trying to get tickets for the next one. So one of them happened to be on Halloween. So my best Halloween show right there.
Awesome. Fine. Way better than mine, I guess. But let's go to Jeremy. Jeremy, your best Halloween costume and your best Halloween show.
Oh, let's see. If I had to pick one costume. So a few years back, for whatever reason, I was in this Smiths tribute band, and we played Halloween every year. I don't know why. Just we always did. And one year we were the Robert Smiths. All of us, we were the Robert Smiths playing Smiths songs. So.
Oh my God.
And I haven't been to a Halloween show in a long time. I've had kids for like a few, so Halloween's booked. So yeah. That's probably my favorite Halloween show. We covered Lullaby.
Oh my God. And yeah, if you guys didn't know that Jeremy did that, he does a pretty good Smiths cover. He does a pretty good Morrissey voice. But all right. So in the interest of time, we'll go over to Katie Bradley. Katie, what's your best Halloween costume and your best Halloween show?
Okay, so best costume. I love Halloween, but one year in college, I waited till the day of. So I just took decorations on my wall and wore them. And I was just Halloween for Halloween, like just got the spider webs and a spider on my face, just as much as I could piled on. And then hands down, best show would have to be Gore in high school. I mean, I don't know how much more Halloween you could get. And technically it wasn't Halloween, but seeing Uncle Acid open for King Diamond just in November was rad. So. Yeah.
I just saw that last year here in Denver at the Fillmore, and like, such a good Halloween show. Yes.
So you have to share yours, Bruce.
Oh, okay. Well, I shared my Halloween costume. My best Halloween show, actually, in most recent memory anyways, was Colfax Speed Queen, local band, former Local 303. And, they've kind of got the creepy vibe going on anyway. And their bassist actually dressed up as Randy from South Park. And so he just had a cardboard cutout on his head. So while he was looking down the entire time, Randy was just like staring at the crowd, and it looked perfect. I was laughing the entire night. Okay, so we're going to get back to our bands here in a sec, but I'm going to toss things back to Alisha. And so now you got to tell us your best Halloween show that you've been to.
Oh gosh. First one that popped in mind was an old local show, maybe 125 years ago at the Larimer Lounge, but it was this old band called Hot IQs, and they all dressed up as members of the Ghostbusters.
Oh, that's super cute.
Yeah. So that's what came to mind. And hey, we've got Shaman Noel coming up in a moment. You're going to chat with Parker. And I want to say thanks to our sponsor, Elevated Independent Energy, locally owned and operated company providing independent energy solutions with a focus on solar, EV charging, and battery backup systems.
Yep. So let's take things to Parker. Hello. How's it going?
Hi. How are you guys? This is so much fun.
This is great. So Parker is a duo. It's Parker and Jack. And you guys have actually you've made music together before this particular project. So tell me about the lead up to creating Parker.
I don't know. I mean, I went to Denver School of the Arts for 7 years. I just graduated, I guess, was like a weird graduation, but I just finished high school there, and he was there the whole time that I was there, and he was a band major and I was a vocal major. And I guess I just found out, I don't remember exactly how I found out that he liked to produce and make music and stuff like that, but he sent me something once and it ended up on my like debut album. And then like during quarantine where we were like, we're bored and inspired, let's make more music together because we do really good together. So that was pretty much how we caught the vibe.
Well, I was going to ask you about creating Care Not Carry because it was created totally in quarantine and you felt like you kind of had to make this happen. So tell me more about creating this new project.
Yeah, I mean, like, I'm kind of realizing now, like, this new wave of creating music is totally, like, successful, like, goes well for people, like, just making something on your own with yourself, and then kind of sending it, going back and forth with another person virtually. And that's totally what Jack and I did. He would, like, send me, like, accompaniment and music and production, and then I wrote the lyrics and, like, sang over it, and, like, we had to realize that like we were friends before we became like, I guess, business music-y people together. So like we kind of had a moment where we had to realize like, if it's not good, I want you to like say that to me and like tell me to my face, because like that's the productive way of going about it. But yeah, I don't know. I ended up writing songs about quarantine and about like being stuck at my house and like how that made me feel. And it's just cool to hear what everybody has to say about being productive during quarantine, because I think it's like none of us would have made a lot of our stuff without like the craziness in the world right now. So I think it's
the
cool.
experience is like part of it for a lot of people, it seems like. And going back to your guys' history, your interview on our local 303 page at Indie 1023 talks about like a background in jazz. And I always love talking to bands that kind of have that background because it brings this extra element and passion into the new music. So how do you use that baseline to create this new stuff that you're doing right now?
Yeah, well, like I've been going to DSA since the 6th grade, and my teacher at the time, who was teaching like the vocal major, like ingrained jazz education into us from like the time we were 11. So I like early on was kind of forced to have an appreciation for it. And I think just like as I got older and was developing my own taste, I was like, this is so like rich. And like, it's not my own, but I get to like, I can take different pieces from it and make it my own and like mix in some pop and contemporary vibes. And he's a band major. And so he was like in his jazz band, like in the instrumental like section of my school. And then like, I was in the vocal jazz ensemble. So I think we also had that kind of training. And like, yeah, I just think it's cool because it's like, there's a couple songs on the EP that I don't think I would have created without like the inspiration from that and like the inspiration from Jack being able to like produce like that. So yeah, I love jazz.
I love it. All right, we've got time. I got to know what your favorite Halloween costume has been.
Oh my gosh, Halloween is my like whole personality pretty much. But last year I was the corpse bride and I felt really good about it. I had like a worm glued to my face. I spray painted my hair blue. And then I realized that 10 years before, when I was 8 years old, I was also the corpse bride. So then there was like a side-by-side decade apart moment where I had been that thing before and I didn't even realize it. It was beautiful.
That is what a good wrap. All right. Thank you so much for chatting. Thank you so much for all of your new music. I'm going to hand things over to Alisha.
Thank you.
Yeah. Hey, Shama Noel. You're our final guy today.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm doing well, and yourself?
Not too bad, not too bad. So you're going to perform for us in a moment, but let's chat a little bit. First of all, best Halloween costume.
So growing up in a Christian household, we didn't get to celebrate Halloween. So this is probably the first year I'll be able to, I guess, as an adult and just not being with my parents. I won't, I'm not going to tell you the costume yet. That's a surprise, but I look forward to it this year.
You know what was interesting? I was thinking about reading that you were from like a super Christian household. I was wondering if your parents did let you dress up in the past. So that's funny that you said it because I kind of had a feeling about that for some reason.
Yeah.
Well, what's a typical day like for you right now?
Just writing for other artists.
Yeah.
I know you're familiar with the Rap Like account that I have. I have a lot of inquiries, so I'm just making time to just put myself in that creative space, and then working on my own music and door dashing from time to time, but really just working, honestly, and reading.
And reading? What have you been reading lately that you love?
It's a book about the Haitian Revolution, and it just goes into detail about that. And I just want to know like the inside and outs since I'm from there. And yeah, that. And I just finished the 48 Laws of Powers, but just those two as of recently.
Yeah. Yeah, this rap-like thing that you started up has gotten pretty big. This is you being able to rap like any hip-hop artist in a nutshell, right?
Yes, basically.
What's been one of your favorite ones that you've done, or maybe mention a controversial one that you've done? Because I know you've gotten busted a few times, right?
Yeah.
Or ruffled feathers.
There's a Drake one that I have. It's the pinned tweet. It's like the first tweet on there that I wrote like 2 years ago. Dissing Nicki Minaj because she had a record and she was just playfully like dissing Drake, and I just responded from Drake's perspective, and that kind of just took off. I thought it was really funny. Like her fans are so like they love her so much. Like they're all over my page, just hate comments, but it was so funny. All of good or bad, it was still traffic towards my page. So
yeah, I love that. You posted online the other day that you were getting a lot of Shazams for your song Sunshine or Sunrise that I love, that we've been playing on the radio. Tell me something about that track that you haven't shared with anyone, or
well, funny thing is I produced that track. That's like one of my only produced tracks. I was just in the studio in Austin, and inception of that was in Austin. Yeah, I produced that track. I don't think many people know that.
I love that song, but you're not going to play that one for us. We're going to do something else. You're going to do What's Happening Now, right?
Yes. If I had background singers, sure. I'm not like the best singer live. I didn't feel like it would translate. I wouldn't do it justice. So, but next time for sure, I got to like take vocal lessons to perform that the way I want to live. But I think I definitely need background vocals or singers to make it like, but yeah.
I love it. Well, let's do What's Happening Now, which also has an amazing music video that you can watch on our website, linked up in the Local 303 article.
Absolutely.
And just take it away when you're ready.
Okay. 1 second. Can everyone hear that? Right. So it's basically about putting your purpose above, I guess, finding love. Okay. Yeah, look. I told her, look, I'm sorry I can't wife you. I'm sure it would be nice to, but I'm too focused on that light bulb above my head that's gonna get me inside of them nice pools before I'm dead. So how you gonna blame me for it? Universe is calling and I can't ignore it. I know life could be fun, but right now I can't enjoy it. Not until I get some of my unemployment. Yeah, I swear my raps could not get any realer. You think I'm gonna put above my familiar? You better get familiar. You better off surviving in a cage with 10 gorillas next to Harambe's killer. This ain't the other raps that you've been hearing lately. This that early shady. This that Kanye on production, Jay-Z. This that Big Boy and Andre 3 from the slums of Atlanta while New York was going crazy. So what do I look like settling down when there's kids in Africa loving my sound? We build it up from the ground up. Build it up from the what's happening now. She say what's happening now. Well, I'm what's happening now. Your man was jacking my style. He can't walk half a mile in my shoes. I'm too cool. You do me, I do you. Just do you. Yeah. Just do you. Just do you. Yeah. What's happening now? 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 I'm what's happening now. Yeah, I'm what's happening now. I'm sorry I can't wife you. I'm sure it would be nice to, but I'm too focused on my IQ. That's gonna get me in front of them screens like I'm Ice Cube. I'm sure you'll meet a nice dude. You told me life is short. Ironically, you're 5'2", and since it's short, falling in love is what I have no time to. You be mindful. I'm trying to climb to the heights of Eiffel times 2. Why you so upset by the man chasing purpose? While you chasing a man, I hope it's worth it. I hope you cut the grass and see the serpents. I hope you find the truth behind that window curtain. I wish all my exes the best. I hope my success don't cause you to stress. I hope you sleeping well, you need your rest, and don't be mad if I don't reply to your text. What's happening now? She say what's happening now. Well, I'm what's happening now. Your man was jacking my style. He can't walk half a mile in my shoes. I'm too cool. I do me, you do you, just do you. What's happening now? She say what's happening now. Well, I'm what's happening now. Your man was jacking my style. He can't walk half a mile in my shoes. I'm too cool. I'm too cool. I'm too cool. I do me, you do you, just do you. And that's what's happening now. Available Spotify, Apple, everywhere. Thank you. Thank you.
You're too cool. You're too cool. We got our whole crew. Everyone's clapping for you, Shama. Thank you so much for performing for us. Thanks, All Right, for performing. And just everybody for bringing their talent to this one Zoom call. The Colorado music scene is incredible with every single genre, and each month we get to feature it. It just fills my heart, and I think it adds so much to the culture of Denver. So thank you everybody for being here. Thank you so much. And if you want to go off mute, you totally can. And also thanks to our sponsor, Elevated Independent Energy.
Thanks so much, Alicia.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Everyone is so cool.
Thank you.
Everyone
You're
is
all
so
amazing.
cool. I agree.
I'm so happy I'm with all of you guys. Oh my God.
This is a pretty rad month. Thanks for those of you streaming this on the live stream on YouTube. And this has been our October virtual Local 303. Bruce, thanks for helping co-host this whole thing, girl.
Absolutely, every single time. And we've also got some pretty awesome takeovers from some of these artists coming up on our Instagram. So make sure you're following us at Indie1023. And these guys, you know, like they've been kind of putting in the chat, like kind of where they are. So go and find all of these artists on Instagram as well. I follow most of them. I think there's like 2 that I need to find still, but quality content just like this evening. So thank you guys so much for joining us.
You guys,
Oh,
thanks
thank
for
you so
having us.
much.
This was super fun.
This was
Bye.
Thank you.
Everyone is so
Bye.
cool. I'm obsessed with you all. Goodbye.
Parker's a huge fan now of everybody. Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.
Take care.
Bye. Thanks, Shama. Bye, Jim. Bye, Colin.
Bye.
You.